Hi everyone, welcome back to my videos, and these are videos about food memories. So I'm gonna be either baking or cooking something for you and sharing with you what these foods mean to me. And if you watched my previous videos, you would have heard me talking a lot about our parents' restaurants when me and my siblings were little. The restaurant was like a seafood, Italian, Egyptian pizza restaurant. It was a nice, lovely fusion restaurant. And one of my fondest memories was to eat pizzas there. My uncle used to bake them in our big stove oven in one of the corners of the restaurant. And he used to shape them however me and my siblings asked them to. So if we wanted a triangular pizza, he would make us a triangular pizza. If we wanted a pizza shaped like a giraffe, he would make us a pizza shaped like a giraffe. So today I'm gonna try and recreate something similar to that. I haven't really done it before, not a shaped pizza. I've baked plenty of pizza in my time, but never a shaped one. So I thought it might be quite a good fun activity to do in a video for everyone. And so now we can start on the pizza base, which is quite straightforward to do, and then we need to leave it to rise for a couple of hours. In the meantime, we can prep a few toppings and fillings for the pizza, and then just leave it to rest, and then afterwards, when everything is ready, we can shape it and let's see what happens. So for the pizza base, we need very basic ingredients. We've got 500 grams of whole grain flour here, with 8 grams of salt, about 50 grams of extra virgin olive oil. We've got 300 milliliters of water here, and I've got my last sachet of yeast. Since the lockdown started, I've been using my yeast very, very sparingly, and I've kept one sachet aside just in case. So I think that this is the best reason to actually use my last sachet of yeast. So just for you guys, here we go. So you just put the yeast all together with the other ingredients. Keep it separate from the salt though, because the salt will stop it from working. And I just like my pizza base quite nice and simple, so all you have to do is put all of the ingredients into the machine, similar to this, close the machine off and just start it. So as you can see, 5 minutes later, all of the dough has been picked up by the machine. It's not touching the sides anymore, everything has been picked up, so we can switch it off now and get it out of the machine and onto a counter. So all we have to do is just pick it out of the machine and put it on I've put a little bit of oil on the counter so it doesn't stick, and we can just work it very, very quickly. We don't have to, the machine has done most of the work. All we have to do is just really bring it all together. You can see, you can feel it, that the gluten is starting to work. This flour is quite high in gluten, so when the yeast starts to work, the flour will keep all of the carbon dioxide inside, technically. So, and you can actually see when the gluten is starting to work by just giving it a little bit of a poke, and then if it starts to come up, that's when you know that the gluten has started to work, and the pizza dough is basically ready, really. So you put it in a lightly oiled bowl, do a couple of mixes, so just both the bottom and the top are nice and oiled, and then you just cover it with some cling film, and all you have to do now is just leaving it to rest. So pizza dough is a really, really straightforward recipe, For this one, I use whole grain malted wheat flour just because I find it a lot tastier and it's healthier. And with the same quantity of white flour, because you get a whole lot of grains as well as the flour itself, the dough is a lot more hydrated, so you get like a lovely fluffy dough instead of quite a dense one. So whilst we wait for this to rise, we can crack on with some of the fillings. So what I'm thinking of doing today with the pizza is to shape in the shape of a cat. And Alan and I have got two beautiful black kittens. So I thought of merging a really wonderful food memory of a nice shaped pizza like I used to have in my childhood when my uncle used to make them for me and my siblings. And, well, my kittens, which they make me very, very happy. So what I was thinking of doing is to fill like a nice circle for the body and the head and then paint it with some black olive tapenade. So what we are going to be doing today is to make some garlic butter for the head. So the head is going to be filled with a little bit of garlic butter, and then for the body we're going to fill it with some tomato sauce and some ham. And then for the black olive tapenade, we've got some black olives, we've got some capers, a little bit of salt and a little bit of olive oil. All of these ingredients I'm gonna mix together with the hand blender, whereas I'm just gonna mix the garlic butter by hand whilst I talk to you a bit more about what this recipe means to me. So, when we were little, our parents, as I've just said before, used to own a restaurant, and me and my siblings used to spend most weekends there. And whilst our parents were working, we would just be playing around and just be children at the restaurant, trying to help out a little bit. Not very much. I just remember making piles and piles of pizza boxes for customers to take their pizza home. But most of the times we were just running up and down the restaurant, possibly getting in the way a little bit. But I don't think that we were not children, we were really just enjoying ourselves. So pizza in general is quite a lovely memory. Because of the times that I spent with my siblings and the times that I spent with my family, both enjoying myself and, shall we say, working. I think we can get away with the word working. So garlic butter, as you can see, very, very easy. Just a little bit of garlic. I think I've put about 1 clove of garlic to 50 grams of butter and some parsley that we just picked from the garden earlier. It's about 1 teaspoon of parsley. So everything mixed in together. I'll just pop this in the fridge to set whilst we wait for the dough to rise. And whilst we do that, whilst we wait, I'm just gonna blitz the black olive tapenade with the hand blender. That's gonna be really noisy, so I'm not gonna do it in front of the camera because otherwise you wouldn't hear me talking. So I'm just gonna do it on the side. So it's been about an hour and a half, and as you can see, the dough has definitely doubled. We were waiting for it to double or triple, depending on how fluffy. I think double will just do the trick. So all we have to do is punch it down and shape it. We're gonna shape it directly on the tray, and I'm gonna try my hardest to try and shape it in like a cat. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on the surface. See if I can actually make it look like our adorable cat. There we go. Now we'll divide it into the different components. So I'm thinking 2 discs for the body, 2 smaller discs for the head, and maybe like a long roll for the tail. So I'll chop it into one big half on here, and this can be the body, and then this can be a disc for the head. This can be the disc for the other head, and we'll leave this bit on the side in case we need it for the tail and the ears as well. So we'll make sure it's nice and flour, will help hold the pizza. I'm sure that my uncle used to do it in a much different way, but I find it easier to just roll it and stretch it with my fingers. And then I can always make it round just like that. So that can be the body, which we are gonna fill, and then we're gonna put the other layer of pizza on top. So I'm gonna roll this side as well. So in Italy there are 2 different types of filled pizza. One is called a calzone and one is a panzerotti. They're basically really the same thing. A calzone is pizza sized. You fill it, you fold it in half, and then you bake it like a pizza. And then a panzerotti is a lot more common in central and southern Italy. And it's a lot smaller than a normal pizza. You fill it like a normal pizza, and then you deep fry it, and it's absolutely delicious. Panzerotti means little bellies. So in all fairness, what we're making now is technically a panzerotti because it's going to be the belly of the cat, but because we bake it, it's actually going to be a calzone. So it's going to be a Yasmin pizza, it's gonna be a cat pizza. It's very good to just put your identity in everything that you make, and I'm definitely very good at stuff like that. So everything that I make just becomes a Yasmin something. So this is gonna be a Yasmin pizza. So we'll put the body here. I think a triangle actually works a lot better. So I've got some tomato sauce here. We'll put it directly on and make sure it's lovely and saucy. I'll put plenty of it in here. And then I'm thinking of filling it with ham. You can put really anything that you want on pizza. My partner Alan cannot really eat a whole lot of dairy, so we're not gonna put cheese in, and that is completely fine by me because it's gonna be delicious one way or another. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip the other side just because the bottom has got flour, so if we want to make it stick, we need to make sure that it's not as floured. We're gonna fold it up and we're gonna tuck it all in, making sure all of the pizza just lovely and tucked in. And this way it closes the edges and it shapes the pizza as well. So we've got the body, and now on to the head. So we had the other 2 pieces of dough. We're gonna roll them just because here we're definitely gonna need a circular shape for the heads. For the head, one single head. I'll get the rolling pin out just to make sure that it's lovely and rolled thinly. There we go. That's apply a little bit more flour because it's starting to stick just a little bit. A little bit bigger, just to make sure that it fits nicely with the body. go. And now we'll try and shape the other one to exactly the same size. So we'll do the same, one side, two sides of the pizza. And then we roll it nicely. And this, the head, we're gonna fill it with the garlic butter that I made earlier. So it's gonna be lovely and delicious, and it's gonna be basically half pizza and half garlic knot. Just because I think it's important to personalize when you cook, and it's also important to just enjoy it. I think it's good to learn from traditions, but then it's also good to just put your own stamp on everything that we make. So a little bit more stretched. Then, yeah, good size for the head. What do you think? And then we'll put the garlic butter that we made earlier. It's gonna be really quite buttery. I don't think that I'm gonna use all of that garlic butter. Definitely not. There's still a little bit more in the pot, but it's definitely not gonna be used. And then again on the other side, and then tuck it all in. So it's basically like an opposite crimp, like in a Cornish pasty you crimp it on top. With this one we're just gonna crimp it at the bottom, so you're not gonna see the seam, but everything is gonna be lovely and tucked in. So it cannot be a cat without some ears and without a tail, can it? So we'll cut a couple of triangle shapes for it. So one big triangle shape here. There we go. And one triangle shape here. Make it look a little bit less like horns, more like ears. There we go. Tuck it in just nicely. And then, what are we thinking? Just one big roll for the tail? I think that could be the way forward. So for the tail, nice big roll. Just roll a little bit of it. And then just like that. There we go. Kind of looks like a cat from behind. And as I've mentioned before, our cats are two beautiful black sisters. So we are gonna use the black olive tapenade to color it. So it's gonna have so many more flavors than just the tomato and the ham, and just the garlic butter on top is gonna be like lovely and olivey and delicious. And again, it just personalizes it. And there's so many ways of actually coloring the dough as it is. So you could actually put some cooked spinach in the dough and that would turn it green. You could put some beetroots in and that will turn it into a beautiful purple. You could actually put some tomato sauce in if you wanted like a lovely red, pinky kind of dough. I just thought of putting the olives on top just because it will give it a very definite flavor combination instead of the olives possibly just disappearing a little bit into the dough. So there we have our black cat. And now I'm gonna leave it to rest for about an hour, just for it to rise, just because I really like my fluffy pizzas. And then we are gonna pop it in the oven at about 200-220 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then the cat is gonna be ready for dinner. So it's been about an hour, and as you can see, the kitten has grown. It's nearly as big as our cats. I am really quite impressed. So I'm gonna pop it in the oven at 220 for about 20 minutes, and it's gonna be, should be lovely and ready. So I'm gonna pop this in it goes, And whilst we wait for the pizza cut to be ready, I'm gonna make a little bit of tomato salad, just because some of it is quite doughy, so it's gonna be quite nice and lovely for us to have a salad to go with it. And I also thought, during our first video, I shared a picture of me and my siblings at our parents' restaurant when we were little. And since we keep going with the theme of the restaurant, I've found another picture that I think is quite nice to share again. So it's gonna be me, my sister and my brother, and then you can see the restaurant sign behind it. And I was about 4 years old, my brother about 1 year old, and my sister must have been 7 years old. So it's whenever I think of the time together, sometimes obviously everybody's going through difficult times, but it was also full of really nice memories when the restaurant was empty, because it had 2 floors. We used to go on the downstairs basement and just rearrange the restaurants and do dance practices and play with the chairs and just have a really, really good time. So even if pizza is quite a stereotypical dish for Italians, I think for me personally it's got much deeper meaning and a lot more memories as well. So doing a dish like this, it might seem silly. I played a lot with it, I was quite creative, but it's also quite lovely and meaningful. For the tomato salad, simplest salad ever, and it should cut the bready carbiness of the pizza that we made. So it's really quite straightforward. Just chop some tomatoes, and then I've got some garlic. I got some basil that we are growing in the house at the moment. I think food memories are lovely because you can always build upon them. Pizza has a lovely meaning. It has lovely memories for me of when me and my siblings were really little. But I think that I can build upon them. Me and my partner and I just bought a house together last year, nearly a 1 year anniversary. And since moving in together, we have nested a little bit, and we've decided to grow our own food because we are very food orientated people. So we're growing herbs, we're growing strawberries. We actually have a couple of strawberries that are nearly ready for this season, and we're really, really happy. As I've mentioned before, with the garlic butter, we grew the parsley for it. So it was really nice, and I think that these are memories that I will share for a very, very long time. Just finding a place for us to just also, on top of enjoying food, also growing our own food and just building upon that and just trying different things and building our own life together. So tomatoes just go, in a pot. Just like that. I think it's easier if I do this. And then we'll get the basil, just a very rough chop. You want to taste all of the basil. And it smells absolutely incredible. Fresh basil has the nicest smell ever. It really, really does. And then after that, a little bit of garlic. And you must think, oh my goodness me, how much garlic do they eat? We eat a lot of garlic. We pretty much put it anywhere. It's just really, really delicious. And it just enhances all of the other flavors. Something as sweet as tomatoes really does need a little bit of a punch. And garlic does exactly that. So in goes the garlic, and then the simplest dressing ever. A little bit of salt, a little bit of vinegar, a a little bit of olive oil, of course, always olive oil. Cannot be Italian and not put olive oil everywhere. And just the nice littlest bit of cracked pepper. So there you go. Mix it all together. Lovely, lovely, simple and fresh. And now all we have to do is wait for the pizza to come out of the oven. So 20 minutes are up and I think it's ready to come out. Ooh, definitely. Look at all of the steam. It's steamed up my glasses. So there we go. We take it out of the oven. The best way of checking if bread is ready is just tap it. And you can hear how it's nice and hollow. So not really a kitten anymore. It's more like a massive bear. But there you go. So that's my bread with some tomato salad. That reminds me of my childhood at the restaurant together with my siblings. And it was my take on what our uncle used to do for us for when we were happy. So I included my memories and my present life, my uncle's pizza and our beautiful kittens. I hope you've enjoyed it.